Welcome to TMS Software TV. My name is Holger Flick and I would like to introduce you to FNC Charts version 2.0. A few weeks ago, I already introduced you to the rapid application development capabilities of the control. And that is the main improvement for version 2.0. There's even less steps needed in order to present, visualize numbers on screen with all those different chart types. You drop the control on the form, but now it's not only one control, you have several controls for all the different chart types. And then you can load either the data from a database, file, or from a data structure, which could be, for example, a list of objects. And even more so, customization, which was already possible both at design and at runtime, has now even been more improved to make it even easier to get the chart that you need quickly. On screen, you see the chart that we're going to create in this example. Believe it or not, this is one line of code and a comma-separated text file that contains the information. What we're presenting here is the current subscriber numbers for different streaming services in the United States of America. As always, if you watch one of my videos, we always start with the basics. We never start with the complex stuff. This file contains a category, which in this case is the name of the streaming service. And then we have the current subscription numbers given in a double value. That's it. Very simple file. Values are separated by comma. Each line has a different category. Let's start with a blank VCL application. This is the main form. I renamed it to form main. That's all I did. Now, after installing FNC Charts, I find not only the FNC chart component, but for each of the different chart types, we now have different controls. So if you want to create quickly a pie chart, just drop the pie chart. If you want to create a spider chart, drop the spider chart component. All of these are pre-configured for the chart you need. So you no longer need to investigate which types there are. You can immediately start by dropping the chart type that you want, load the data, and that's it. In this case, we want to create a bar chart. So from the list, I create the bar chart and drag it onto the form. And in addition to that, I will also set the anchors. Anchors, alignment, everything's supported. So with this, I'm almost done, but there's a great new feature I want to introduce you to. The default fonts don't suit my needs. I need a different font. So before, I had to change all the different fonts, title font, axis font, label font. Now, with FNC Chart 2.0, we can simply click the appearance property, go to global font, and set the name, for example, JetBrains Mono is the font that I like. And then I can set the size, for example, to 10. And all the different components of the chart will be scaled accordingly. And all the different parts of the chart will be styled accordingly. This is such a major improvement. It is one property and you can control the style of the whole form. And with this, we need to rename the form so we can address it properly in code. I simply name it chart. And then when the form gets created, I want to load the data. For this, I type chart dot. And now we have load from, and here's all the different opportunities that we now have to load data. You can use a data array, a multi-point data array, comma-separated files, streams, text, JSON, and of course, databases, and also JSON streams, meaning streams that contain JSON information. The database, of course, requires us to use a data source of some sort. We're just going to look at the one-line solution to load data. So now I can type load from CSV data because we have a comma-separated file. The file name in this case is f and streaming.csv. That's the file name I used. For the next parameter, we can either provide load options. If we're more accustomed to the control, this gives us lots of customization options right while loading the data. No, I'm going to go with the second option. I'm going to specify the column index of my y values. And thinking of the file, which one is this? This is 0-based. So in this case, the values are being kept in number 1 because 0, 1. So I simply specify 1, but this is an array. So I have to specify it with square brackets because you can have multiple y values. So this is the reason why this is an array and not just an integer number to identify the column. It can refer to multiple columns. And then the next parameter is the column for the x values. In this case, we don't have those because instead of values, so we specify -1, because in this case, we have labels that we want to see or display on the x-axis. So this is the index of the labels for that axis. And of course, it's 0 because it's the first column inside of our comma-separated file. By default, comma is being chosen, so we don't need to change anything. And if we run this, we should already see the chart that we desire. And here it is, the chart with all the different services on the x-axis, and we have all the values on the y-axis. Of course, now you could go ahead and maybe change the formatting or change the fonts, but the key is with one line of code, you have a presentable chart which automatically resizes, and this is something I have not mentioned so far, this is not only a component that you can use for your VCL projects, these controls are compatible with the VCL, FireMonkey, TMS WebCore, the Lazarus LCL, and thus these are multi-platform components suitable for your Windows applications, macOS applications, Linux applications, and even for the Raspberry Pi if you use Lazarus. And that is just the desktop operating systems. This control also works on the mobile platforms iOS and Android, which are both supported by Delphi. So with one component pack that you have to learn once, and it looks the same in all of these frameworks, you can deliver a solution for all these possible requirements. If you want to find out more about FNC charts, go to fnc.tmssoftware.com. As always, a trial version is available.